Microphone? Is it on?
Yeah. All right, calling to order the Police Community Advisory Board for November 19th, 2025. We'll do a roll call first. Vice Chair Buchanan?
Here.
Member Powers?
Here.
I am here. Member Malloy? Present. Ex officio Wickenstein? No. Alternate ex officio Marrow?
Present.
Chief Slowick?
Present.
And Ms. Massey? Okay. First order of business is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we approve the agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay. Agenda has been approved. And approval of minutes. Do we need a couple of minutes to, oh, sorry. Vote? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay.
Once again, Madam Chair, I'd like to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second? For the last CAB meeting of September 3rd.
I second that.
Let's put that to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is time for public comment. During this time, citizens can comment on subjects of interest. Not on the agenda or agenda items, so at this point, do I read the public comments from the website at this point? Yep. Just the main, yes. Yes. Let's find that here. You have it, thank you. Okay, the first public comment was received from Howard Scott Strickland from Sumner Park Tennis Courts. This was received on November 11th. And the second is from Bill Snyder, received on November 6th. The agenda item was stay out of zone. And those will be recorded in the meeting's minutes. Okay. Do we have any other public comments? Looks like no members. All right, so we have items for discussion. The first item is to review the chronic nuisances ordinance number 2031. Chief Slowick?
Yes, members of the Police Community Advisory Board, Chief Slowick, thank you for being here today. I just wanted to let you know that yesterday the City Council passed Ordinance 6.25 for chronic nuisance. That ordinance will be now added to our city municipal code, and I'm providing an overview of what that ordinance is. And really, it's the ordinance provides a process for identifying and correcting properties where repeated criminal or nuisance activity occurs. It ensures the health, safety, and welfare of the community, and it's may be used along with other state and local law enforcement tools. So really, you know, this is just another tool for our community and making sure that we ensure good public safety. Specifically, as we talked last night at the council meeting, there are a few areas where this nuisance would have been applied in the past. Specifically, property that maybe the property owner had vacated and or is not responding to, and it's becoming nuisance property where it's now either a drug house or people are breaking into the property. We currently have one of those properties in our jurisdiction that is under city control. It does have an abatement on it. However, because we didn't have this nuisance ordinance, that we had to use the health department as part of that abatement process and tagging the residents before we could do a civil process. Per our city attorney, this similar chronic nuisance ordinance is in other jurisdictions, specifically like Mount Lake Terrace and Shoreline, those places. She represents those other jurisdictions, and it's been used pretty well. Often you get compliance from the property owner and it does never has to go to that civil process that allows in the ordinance. Other uses could be, say, you have a massage parlor that is being reported that they're providing extra services. However, there maybe is law enforcement's not able to get probable cause to make an arrest in the situation. You're able to work with those property owners to correct the action. So it was not created for a specific property in mind. It's just another tool for law enforcement in our community. And I'm happy to take any questions about it.
So I'd like you to explain to me what the 10-day requirement for an abatement plan is. What sort of abatement plan am I looking for?
Oh, so it could be, that's a civil process. So the abatement plan would be a civil process. It would be an agreement that, that you would make with the property owner for them to correct the behavior or actions that's going on the property. But that's something that would be made with our city attorney.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yes, Chief, with regard to the, what do you call them, sanctions or measures against the property owners, could you summarize what they might be, or if they are?
Yeah, it could be anything where a civil penalty, there could be civil court orders. It could go all the way up to condemning or seizing property. So it is a civil process that goes through the entire court, the legal system. But really the plan behind it is as we, as in law enforcement, receive complaints or often citizen complaints about a property, we look into investigate those actions, and if we deem that there are multiple offenses occurring, if we receive multiple complaints, there is a way to build up a investigative case for this civil process. However, that was specifically, it was brought up last night, was somebody calls just requesting help from law enforcement. That is not a mechanism for this. So it could be drug dealing, it could be drug overdoses, could be that's just one side of it. Also could be a nuisance piece of gang activity, other problems that are going on our community. So.
Just to follow up, with regard to my experience in civil process, at least in the state of Texas, there were measures where if there was not a response by the property owner, that a financial liability could be laid against the property, and it just basically it goes and goes and goes until it goes up for sale, or there's a property seizure. Is that anything like that a possibility?
Yeah, sure. The city can put a lien on properties. They can. The court system can institute penalties for failing to comply. That's often negotiated through that abatement process.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this may be more of a legal question, maybe something the attorney
Yeah.
could answer. So the owner is held liable for the behavior of visitors to their property.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, visitors, yes, but also let's think of it as maybe you're the landlord of a property. You have a tenant. The tenant is the offender. The landlord is the one that can be held responsible under this ordinance. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Now, if I'll just add, if it's just activity that's occurring not on your property, out on the streets or whatever, then that's not necessarily a reason that would be associated with the property. However, you have to look at the totality of the circumstances, understand the comings and goings, a house dealing drugs, prostitution, those type of things. I mean, it could be, if things are seeping off your property, I mean, there could be reasons to connect that, but a proper investigation needs to be conducted, so.
Okay, so to just be specific, if a visitor is using illegal drugs or dealing illegal drugs on the property, the owner could be held responsible, but law enforcement would need to build a case
Yeah, I
to
mean,
demonstrate that.
sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
I
you.
mean, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chief, just to clarify, if you would, for me, so what was passed was just the ability for the police department to identify properties. It wasn't actually identifying any specific properties.
Nope, correct. It was just a new ordinance that was created. And really what this gives is a tool for the police department to report this to our city attorney and for the city attorney then to file those civil, part of that ordinance is the city attorney filing all this. Law enforcement's not doing any civil court filings or anything like that. We're just a tool process. I'll be honest, code enforcement's another piece of this, but it's through the chief of police is the what's identified in the ordinance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Real, go ahead.
As a private citizen and also as a city council member, I think that in general principles, not specifying the details, but in general principles, this is actually a wonderful stepwise process to deal with a problem that has the potential for ruining the city. Because I came from a place called Burien, which is near SeaTac Airport, and the drugs, the drugs and all the associated crimes with it basically took over the city. So I think this is a measured step, and it's starting to get the wheels turning on cleaning up the forces that potentially could ruin the city of Oak Harbor. Thank you.
I just had a question regarding the new ordinance. Is this an ordinance that will help with, like, for example, I hate to call it out, but Spin Cafe and all the calls that we get there with overdoses or Narcan needing to be used? Are those type of calls what they're looking for to pinpoint areas?
So it's a variety of things. I think you have to be able to demonstrate that there's activity that's occurring that's either nuisance to neighboring properties, it's criminal activity, it's a wide variety of things. So it's not one specific thing. It also is not targeting one specific property or anything like that. We will get into the next ordinance that is specifically more zoning ordinance that we'll talk about and what that next. But yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Questions or comments? Okay, Chief Slowick, on the stat of designated area draft ordinance?
Yeah. So this ordinance, what has been brought to City Council in a workshop at the end of last month. It's coming back to City Council on December 2nd. This ordinance is specifically a stay out of designated area ordinance. Helps keep neighborhoods safe, healthy by restricting certain individuals from returning to specific areas where repeated drug activity has occurred. This is tied to specifically drug incidents. So this ordinance does not create a new tool for the police department. It actually creates a new tool for our court system. So this ordinance creates a stay out of designated order, a new court order for the courts. The way that it is applied is that City Council will be provided, and they actually have already been provided, information on where we have seen an increase in activity and activity associated with drugs in Oak Harbor. And they then take that data and then they make a determination if a specific SODA zone should be established. So when we come back to City Council on December 2nd, I will be asking for a SODA zone to be established. I have provided you a map. I will tell you the map is incomplete. So this map is labeled option 2. It's just a draft. The option 1 includes additional property. So what I am recommending is that we create a SODA zone And the boundaries for that is Southwest 8th Avenue is the north boundary, SR 20 is the east boundary, Southwest Bayshore Drive is the south boundary, and Southwest Erie Street is the west boundary. The map that you have in front of you is option 2, because I think it's important to give city council some options and discuss the reasons why. This option removes the property south of SR 20 between Erie and Beeksma, or Bayshore and Beeksma. And that really is Woodby Island Bank, Grocery Outlet, 7-Eleven South, Burger King, Verizon, Beeksma Park. So that removes that area from the zone, and it's just something to talk about. Why would we even consider two different areas? Conversation as I have had conversation with partners in this, which include city council, you guys, the CAB, community involvement from businesses downtown, the court system, being very mindful of where our grocery stores are. So we understand that this zone under option 2 covers 2 of our grocery stores that are in our community. There leaves Grocery Outlet and SARS Marketplace as 2 outside of that zone. This option 2 covers 2 pharmacies, that's Walmart and Safeway. We also have Walgreens, which is outside of this zone. So if we went to option 1 where it covers the lower area, that removes a grocery store from the area. If someone was to be issued this court order where they have to stay out of this area. I think it's important to understand the data, and as we look at the data supports including that lower properties into this SODA zone, but I think it really is something that City Council needs to consider as we have this discussion on December 2nd. So again, I gave you a description of the SODA ordinance, what it is. The key to this is that it creates a new court order if someone is arrested, convicted of a crime in this SODA zone and they have a drug offense included. So, for example, it could be there's a warrant arrest, they're downtown, we'll just use the Spin because the Spin is in this zone, and there's a warrant arrest and the person has a possession of drug charge on them, that's a misdemeanor or gross misdemeanor crime. We would charge them for the drug offense as well. We could then request from the courts, or our city prosecutor can request from the courts that the person be issued this SODA ordinance for up to 24 months or while the court hearing is going on. And if the court grants it through the court's probation process, they wouldn't be allowed back in that restricted area. If they were caught back in that restricted area violating the court order, it's now a separate charge of a court order. So it's a totally separate offense. This ordinance has been used successfully in the cities of Arlington, the cities of Monroe, Burien has it, Everett has like 9 zones, Marysville I think is now up to 4 zones, Arlington has got 3 different, is increasing this because it's a way to counter some of the activity that we're seeing with drug activity, and then those crimes that go along with that drug activity. So. I will also just add, talking with the courts, knowing that this is a tool for the court appreciates that the city is considering providing more tools, more options that are less restrictive than being incarcerated. So I think that's important. That is a mandate by our state Supreme Court. And so it's trying to figure out how do you still maintain a vibrant community and offer somebody services, and then if they don't want to have the services, what options do you still have? So happy to take any questions.
Yes, Chief Slowick, this is a fascinating alternative, and it bodes well for the city to do a stepwise process of an incremental increase in measures to reduce and restrict illegal activities. So my question is that if a SOTA zone is established for a particular person, it could be extended by the judge, right? This is a municipal judge, a district judge, local district judge, yes?
So it could be district or superior court could issue
Okay.
the order. They can't extend the zone. The zone is established by city council.
Okay.
So the zone can't be extended. It can be modified, meaning they allow someone, let's just hypothetically say, Woodby Island Bank was part of this zone, and the judge allows them to go to Woodby Island Bank because that's where they do their banking.
Okay.
But they couldn't be at next door at grocery outlet. Would be
Okay,
an example.
so I would like to be on record to note from my own law enforcement experience that there's a significant cost financially and resource-wise whenever you're doing proactive law enforcement or measures to reduce crime and losses to our citizens and as well as to just the general city. So I think that this is a measured approach, a wise approach to go forward. And as I understand it, Chief, this option 2 is the one in your professional judgment would be the better of the 3. Is that correct?
I think I would be leaning towards option 1.
Option-
Again, I don't have the map for that, but that includes that lower Bayshore,
Okay.
the south zone going to southeast, southwest Bayshore. However, I think this is going to be up to city council to decide.
Understood, but
Yep.
we always like options.
Understood. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So is there any precedent in any one of these other localities for a SOTA zone that is not focused solely on drug-related charges? So could nuisance
No.
vandalism
No,
only
this all
drug-related?
stems from there is a RCW that allows for felony drug trafficking for courts to stay out of drug areas or stay out of designated areas based off of that drug trafficking of the individual. This stems from the precedent set by that RCW. It's like, 15 or 20 years of precedent. And being able to really define that at the city municipal level and saying, hey, we can apply this here at our municipal court or district court level. So same principles. It all has to be tied back to drug offenses. Yeah.
Thank you. Other questions or comments?
And again, it's going December 2nd. This has been discussed for, at least the last 8 months, if not longer, through several community events. It's been facilitated several times in meetings with SPIN. They've been supportive of it, or their board has been supportive of it. I will be reaching out to the property owners that are in this zone, just notifying about the December 2nd meeting. So.
Just a request for comment, because I had heard it, I can't remember what officer or what official I had heard it from, but when you have a SOTA ordinance against a particular, I'll just say offender or alleged offender, that it has the effect of causing that particular individual to go, on average, obviously this is not cut and dried, but going somewhere else. And because I had heard that, because I had specifically said, well, they just pop up somewhere else in the locality. But I had heard a message to the effect that that's not necessarily the truth, because any number of them actually just might leave the city. But would you speak to that if there's any comment that's worth making on that?
I can just talk to that. I've spoken with like Arlington Police Department. They have this. Our city prosecutor is the prosecutor for City of Arlington. They've had great success with this similar ordinance. Actually, this is what we modeled our ordinance off of, and The nice thing about this is the people that maybe are on the fence of accepting services, is this might be that push for them to accept services. We have no essential services within this zone. You'll have to make a determination for yourself if you feel like Spin is an essential service. It's a shelter. They don't provide any other service outside of a shelter. But people can still go to the library. People can still go to the center. There's other alternatives to that in other parts of the city. For example, Atua, our voluntary stabilization center, that's outside of this zone. We often take people there, those type of things. So
Appreciate it.
So I really appreciate that we're talking about a number of different tools. I want to echo what Member Marrow said to mitigate some of the problems that the community has been voicing. I know we're jumping ahead a little bit. I don't want to talk about the report yet, but we have discussed the SOTA zone in previous CAB meetings. I've already put into the report that we support the establishment of a SOTA zone without knowing what the zones look like. So you should recognize that in the report.
Just a quick question to clarify. Option 1, if that's what city council chooses, the only pharmacy they would have access to would be Walgreens, and the only grocery store they'd have access to would be SARS, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, just making sure I understood that right.
really, you only have, there's limited, all of those things are limited
Right.
in this community.
I was just making sure I had the visual right in my head.
Yeah,
that's all.
but there are alternatives outside of this SOTA zone, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, questions, comments? No? So Member Marrow has asked to introduce a community member. I'd like to do that when we have finished items for discussion, when we finish number 5. I'm sorry. Malloy, sorry about that, Marty. Let's do that after we finish number 5. Yeah? Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the calendar for 2026.
So
So-
go ahead.
I can read it.
Yep.
This sets meeting dates for January 7th, March 4th, May 6th, July 1st, September 2nd, and it is moving,
That November 11th is Veterans Day, so I'm
yeah,
going
I
to
see
say.
it. The 18th is what we're thinking.
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to move that to November 18th because of both Veterans Day and the City Council meeting that would, yeah. Okay. Do we need to do a formal vote on the calendar? Or do we just
No,
accept
we'll
that?
post that. I believe you can just say that you're good with those dates, and then we'll post those dates. So,
I am good with those dates. Anybody else?
I am too.
okay.
I mean, I may not be when those dates roll around, but right now I'm good with those dates. so. Okay. All right, so we also want to talk about the Community Advisory Board presentation to City Council. I sent that out Monday, I think, or Sunday, something like that. Did anybody get a chance to look this over? Yes. Yeah. So this is just a draft of this. I thought that we could sign this over and present this to City Council. I did not have, it sounds like the CAB has never done this before, even though they're supposed to. Yeah, I did not have a model for this, so I made it up, right? And thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think that the most important things to take away from this are, first of all, I've documented our activities. If you have anything that you think that I have missed that we've done in the last, what would that be, year and a half?
Yeah. So would you like me to make so typically a presentation is a slideshow, like a PowerPoint presentation?
I thought I would do that,
Okay.
but I really wanted them to have a chance to weigh in before I did it.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So I've included in this the CAB member activities, then some of our findings and recommendations. I think that really it's the findings and recommendations that I think we ought to be paying the most attention to here. You agree? Yeah. I mean, I think the first is just that we want to continue to make sure we're supporting the police department, right? And communicating that to city council, that we need to get to the point of full staffing, both for police officers and for support staff. I think the second thing is that really most of the effort that we've spent over the last, whatever it would be, year and a half, it's not been quite 2 years yet, has been trying to collect information from the community about what their major concerns are. And I don't think there's any doubt that the thing that we hear the most about are concerns about increased crime in the area around Barlow Street. So I put in here that we recommend and support the police chief on the soda zone, right? I thought that that was very important. I had a meeting with directors of Spin Cafe a few weeks ago who wanted to know whether the mayor had reached out directly to the property owner about the fence idea, because they have reached out to Mr. Massey about the fence. I thought we would include in that presentation that we'd like to know if the mayor has done that, because Spin is on board with erecting a fence, unless you already know, Chief Slowick.
I will find that out.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay. I also think that, so I really appreciate the number of tools that Chief Slowick has presented to us for dealing with some of these concerns, but I would really like to see the city, with or without county support, move ahead with a pallet shelter program. I think that, and I've met with Mr. Malloy and Ms. Buchanan and Ms. Powers, and I think that I have not met with Mr. Marrow, sorry about that, yeah. And I think we're all on board with that we think that the most humane way to deal with this problem is to come at it from a number of different directions. And so we would like to make the argument to City Council that a long-term strategy should be a pallet shelter plan, not a short-term strategy, a long-term strategy. I also want to recognize Board Member Powers for her pointing out in Everett that businesses are sponsoring pallet shelters, that we ought to be asking business members who are very vocal about this problem to, for lack of a better phrase, put their money where their mouth is and agree to sponsor shelters if the city's able to acquire the land to do that. So I really would welcome any feedback on this report, and then we can get together and put together the PowerPoint slide. I'd also like to know when we're supposed to do this. Do we have a sense?
So we're looking at the 16th of December
Okay.
is the first meeting. However, speaking with our city clerk, it could be to January if you'd rather have it then, but December 16th is the earliest.
So I would like other members to come. I'd like as many of us to come as possible. Do we want to look to see if December 16th would work? You there? Okay, then I.
So the council meeting starts at 5:30. The presentation would be the very early in the council meeting. Presentations are typically, less than 10 minutes. And we would want to create a PowerPoint presentation. I can help you with that. And if you have a finalized document, we would just upload that so council would have that document as part of the packet.
Like, does council require signatures on this
No.
report? We just make a presentation as well.
A presentation is totally fine. You don't have to actually provide anything in
Anything.
writing if you don't want to. So if you'd rather just provide a presentation, that's great. Typically, the presentations have, presentations have a slideshow. So if you just want to do a slideshow, that's great. If you want to include a document with it as well, that's fine. It doesn't require everybody to sign it or anything like that.
Okay, I mean, I would err on the side of having a document and asking people to sign it so that we're also putting our money where our mouths are. Or is that, yeah? Is that how we say that? I don't know. Did I say it right? Okay.
Yeah.
Are we on board with that? Yep. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, with your permission, I'd like to introduce a guest that I've invited this afternoon. This is Dr. Michael Lemmy. He's a local dentist, and his property is on Southwest 8th Street. It butts right up against what's going to become the Soda Zone. I don't know if we're going to revert back to public comment. I'm going to ask if that's a possibility.
I'd like us to revert back to public comment, but that comes with a 3-minute time limit.
I'm going to ask my guest.
Okay.
Would you like to speak for a moment, Doctor, while you're here? All right. With your permission, Madam Chair, I'd like to introduce Dr. Michael Lemmy, please. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Hello, I practice, as Mr. Malloy mentioned, on 8th Avenue, which has been a really great location for us. I've practiced for 13 years up on Whidbey Avenue, and it was a little less visible, and it was a smaller location, and so when the opportunity came for us to move to 8th, we were excited to do that. But I didn't realize there were some trade-offs being closer into town there. We did have some extra visibility, and the building was better, but we had an ongoing problem, and the previous Dr. Carr, Randy Carr, was there as well and had this problem for as long as he was there, I think, and it had gotten worse, where we have a beautiful arbor, and we've got like a little hedge in the front, and it's very well sheltered from the weather, and we'd have people sleep there regularly and leave behind all sorts of paraphernalia, excrement, pretty disgusting for my team to pick up and then treat patients afterwards. And so that hasn't really changed. We have a trespass order that, for repeat offenders, I guess they get taken care of at some level, but we have cameras up. We've had, I don't know how much you want to know, but I could go through a huge list, more than 3 minutes worth of things we found, or damage that's been done, or problems to the building location, and I've debated what do we do, and I didn't know what else could be done. I have had, ideas that, well, maybe if the officers, as they're patrolling, if they want to just hang out in my parking lot, that would be really nice as a deterrent. Putting a fence up, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put a big iron gate in front of my entrance to keep them out. I don't think that's the kind of community we live in, but it kind of is turning into that, it seems like, from the outside. And, are my patients safe coming in? Are my team members safe coming in? It's dark when they come in and dark when they leave, right, nowadays, in the wintertime. And so we put security lights on the back of the building down there, and there's an alleyway where people have been sleeping in months past. I've put security lights up. Those have been stolen, broken off the fence. Anyway, I think it's definitely something that we need to do something about, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my experience, and my time's probably almost up, but I'm excited to hear that there's something will change, or there is a concern more than just me in my office, and I know it's out there. Other businesses I've talked to have had similar issues, and anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. And I don't know if there's any other questions or anything I could answer.
Thank you, Dr. Lemmy.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Madam Chair, for the good of the order, not a point of order, for the good of the order, I wanted to be on record to address something that's essential from the City Council's point of view. I speak for that all of us have to pay for city services, and if we have a city that's in decline and everybody leaves because of the crime and they cannot sustain their businesses. It will lead to a lack of revenue. So just on a strictly business point of view, not making any value judgments, I would say that it is in the best interest of this city to not increase the number of free services for people who have free transportation, have access to free food, have access to free lodging. And as a matter of public record, in the city council meeting, I've said that for every single person that, and I understand there's some people that are not, through no fault of their own, have issues. But I'm also extraordinarily mindful of the fact, from personal experience dealing with them as a law enforcement officer, that there are those people who exactly work the system in order to not pay for transportation, have 3 hots in a cot, not be in jail, and all of that is a drain, and it has a multiplying effect. It's exponential. It's not exactly compounding, but it's similar, and that is the resources that we spend to provide these free services for all these individuals, whether they are willfully disabling themselves or not, is preventing us. I'm on the city council, right? We have hundreds of millions of dollars worth of infrastructure and wonderful things that we can do in our community. And the money that we spend for these particular free services are directly draw from that. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Mr. Malloy, I'm not sure what free services you're talking about that the city is providing.
I'm broadly speaking with regard to a number of services, not necessarily just the city, but what I'm mindful of is that people on the street, they understand where to find free stuff, and they are very much attracted to those locations. So whether they have Island Transit, free transit, which I know they come from the mainland even, and they'll come to Spin, or what I'm saying is they've got a network, they know how to work it. I understand this. I mean, I work law enforcement. I had to deal with these folks, for 15 years, and they know how to work the system. And many of them have no regard whatsoever for who's paying for it. So I'm saying that because I'm a city council member and we have to deal with the expectations of law-abiding citizens. And people may accuse me of not having empathy, and I have to just smile. And I say, who I have empathy for is the people who are holding 2 and 3 low-paying jobs in order to be law-abiding and contributing members to our society and our city, so that they can they can contribute taxes for these particular free services. Now, again, I'm not describing this situation with regard to those who, they might have birth defect, they might have hereditary defects, or they might have all kinds of mental things that are no fault of their own. But the more incentives that we give to provide for folks who are not providing for themselves, the more it's going to be an attractant to bring them here. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Other comments? All right, so do we want to make a determination of future agenda items? So I think a really important agenda item should be to be recruiting to fill positions on the cab. I've asked 3 or 4 people. I know that one person applied and then withdrew their application. I don't know what happened to the others. I've reached out to the principal at Oak Harbor High School because we still need a student member. But I do think it would be an advantage to the community to have a cab that is communicating from other perspectives. For example, we've been talking a lot about the intersection between public safety and homelessness and drug abuse. So having people who have had those experiences, I think, would be very valuable on the cab. So I really would very much like to see us working on recruiting. I think that should be a future agenda item. Okay.
Madam Chair, I've been working with Mr. Mark Delors, who's one of the instructors out at the high school. and he's also involved with Chief Bill Thiel, who's our ROTC director out there. They promised to give me a couple of candidates just the other day, so they're going to send a couple of guys to me. We're going to, a young lady and a young man that we're going to be talking to next week.
Yeah, so they just all need to apply to the city. The city has an application on the city's website. They can call.
That's
myself or
where we're
Meg,
steering them. That's
but-
where we're going to steer them.
Yeah, everybody's got to go through that, so. And then there is a process, an interview process that I meet with them with Chairperson Paul, and if she's available, and then we refer that back to the mayor, so. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry I wasn't here present earlier. I was doing a community thing, helping out a neighbor.
Working.
You know how that works. I've been thinking about how we fill these empty seats on all of our committee advisory boards that we have. And this one particular kind of just strikes me like, I feel like we should have some representation from the business side of the city. Maybe somebody from the chamber board might be able to be a potential option. Main Street as well might be a potential option. These organizations are in town, right? Like, I mean, so that they have some voice in it, not just that. One of the things we learned, if you watch last night's meeting, you'll learn that we don't, there's a definite struggle sometimes to align council and the advisory boards identically. Don't even try to do it, in my opinion. I think whoever we have in these advisory boards should put forth what they feel is their connection to the city's goals. Whether that aligns exactly, as council, we get that final decision on some of those things. We try to stay as close as we can. We had a great exercise last night on how that works, and how it sometimes doesn't look as pretty and comes out looking graceful. So anything we can do to bring in members of the community, maybe members of the Interfaith Network community, or community network faith, you guys, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Somebody from there that might be able to help in that regards. I don't know if we've tried those avenues. You're smiling like you probably have, so.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to the same stuff. Yeah. So just, to put it out there and whatnot, so. And I'll keep trying to find people too.
I would like to add for the presentation back to council, it might be a good idea to pose that question to them at the end of what is the council's direction for CAB, so that you guys could get some input there.
If you're gonna do that, get that question to us long before the packet comes out, please.
Yes. We'll do.
So that brings up two other things. It sounds like two members would prefer that we do the January date for the presentation.
Yeah, I was just curious what date it was.
Yep, I can let you know.
I was listening to you guys talk. I was late to log in. I apologize. Believe it or not, there's parts of our island that still don't have good cell service, and so while driving and listening to something is challenging. I was thinking about that presentation. I would recommend January. I just think with us coming up on the end of the year and potentially all the things that come with us at the end of the year, I think January you're going to get we have less on our plate most likely, or hopefully. And depending on how much time you want for your presentation, a workshop could potentially be a better option if you want more time to engage with council and really kind of tease out that question. I don't know which preference you, Chief, would prefer, but I'm open to either. I just was throwing it out there as an option.
So I'll just give, the dates in January are January 6th and 20th are the council meetings. Both of them start at 5:30 p.m. The workshop is January 27th. It starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I tell myself to go through, so I'm never late.
I recommend that we do a presentation on January 20th, and then decide from there if we would like to be added to the workshop. the future, right, February or March or whatever.
I would strongly support that idea for member powers, especially with regard to aiming for the workshop. That's a good opportunity to hash out a lot of details, but really, as a non-voting member, I'm just giving an opinion.
I think that's a great idea. Let's shoot for the 20th, and then we'll talk about the workshop after
Okay.
the meeting. That sounds fantastic. Anything else?
I have not. Oh, the only other thing I will say is on Monday we received ownership of our training facility. It's a huge accomplishment. We've got a little ways to go on getting it fully operational, but we're looking at the first of the year. And but huge thank you to City Council, Mayor, and the community support and your guys' support on that. So I would like to, I'll reach out to you, everybody individually, and if you'd like to get a tour of it, if you haven't already gone up, we'll get you up there. We're gonna have a ribbon cutting, so we'll figure out when that ribbon cutting is gonna be, so. Yeah.
So are we supposed to talk about positions, or is that a?
Oh, yeah, that's the last thing. If we're there. I gotta figure out where I just put my notes at. So positions that are expiring in 2025 are. So positions that are expiring in 2025 are Melinda Buchanan for position 1, Rachel Paul for position 3, and Marty Malloy position 5. The question is who would like to be re-upped?
They don't get an option.
And if someone would like to move into an even year spot, which would expire next year, that might be a good option of moving one person to that role. That way it's balanced. But
So we have a couple of questions. The first question is, I think very early on, we voted to change the rule about city limits, Navy housing, that it did not mean residing in city limits, but if you were employed within city limits?
yeah, that's a city council change. CAB doesn't have
Did we
a-
not receive something about that? Are you not thinking the same thing?
I thought we had asked city council to.
It hasn't gone to city council to change. So
Okay.
currently this is the,
So I have a
Please.
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Rachel and I have been talking to a pediatrician here in Oak Harbor. She does not live in Oak Harbor, but she has a business here in Oak Harbor, and we've been trying to get her on a seat here, but she doesn't technically fit in there. Would she still be
Let
6
her-
or 7?
Just ask her to apply.
Okay.
I think the easiest way is just ask her to apply. If we believe that she's a good candidate, there are no other candidates, I believe that's what we can take to the mayor to consider and then city council to accept. So,
Okay.
I'm going to jump in. I'm pretty sure that we have a county position on all of the boards. I thought we changed that a couple of years ago with our bylaws. I wish Mikhail was here because she might know that answer.
I was reading them over. I thought they had
I
changed
thought we
as
did
well.
too. So I believe, yeah, I'm with the chief. Have her apply because if she's in the county, there should be room for at least 1 or 2 of those individuals on all of our boards. Is
So
what I understood.
I believe that what the change was, it's you could be working within 98278 or 98277. You don't actually have to reside, but it's a reside working type thing. That's what that county piece was.
Yeah, I knew that we opened
Yeah,
it
so
up.
we have 2 of those.
Yeah.
We have 2 of those on this
So
spot.
She'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, currently those are being filled by Marty and Rachel. However, again, let her apply and we can work through the process. There's a way to work through all of it. If you don't get an applicant putting in for it, can't be considered.
So if at all possible, I'd like to be moved to an even year termination.
Okay.
And I would like the goal to be that I would step down as chair when we have the cab filled and someone who resides within the city limits would be interested in being the chair. That would be my personal goal, because I don't reside within the city limits. Yes.
I heard the ask for me is get you moved to an even year.
Get me to an even year. Yes, that's right, but I'm saying that out loud
Understood.
to everybody else on the cab, right?
Okay.
That's my goal.
So extend and into an even year. 2030 sounds great. Okay. All right.
Or 26, but thanks.
So Chair Paul, there's flexibility always to back out from your personal preference in the future. So, you're not locked in by this goal that you have.
I know, I'm a free moral agent, but I'd like to fulfill my obligation. How's that?
Okay. Melinda, would you like to extend?
Yes.
Okay. Marty, would you like to extend? Sure, I would. Okay. All right. Thank you.
We have 4 or 5 open seats.
There's 3? 3.
There's 4.
And one's a student. There's a student spot too. Yeah.
I don't want to understate the student rep either. I really think that is important for a number of reasons, not the least of which is recruitment, right? Yes, I agree. Yep.
I believe the way the ordinance reads is it's just a 1-year commitment and all right.
I think I'm going to make a motion in just a minute. So I was at the Monroe conference today. Ralph Monroe, who died this year, who's a member of the legislature, who is all about civic engagement. And one of the things we were talking about was recruiting younger people. And no offense, we're not younger people. So I really think that I really think getting a student member should be a very high priority for the cab. All right, motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn. And once again, our next meeting is going to be?
January 7th.
January 7th, that's right.
And I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.